Big production.
Yo, what's up guys? So we're back for good and I'm ready to start doing these weekly videos again, which I'm excited for because I want to stay on the game, you know what I mean? I got to stay up on the opportunities every single week. That way we don't miss out on anything and it keeps you primed, man, because I feel like there's going to be a hot summer of stocks getting ready to rip. So I'm going to go through a few today. We got Cbdt, Empower Clinics. I believe they're a Vancouver ganja company. They're starting to reach out into the US and expand a bit, look more into it, but I'm liking what I'm seeing from a technical perspective. We have this falling wedge and we broke out and we back test once. We might have to back test again, but keeping this name on the watch list will be beneficial for sure because last time I seen this name, we had this insane resistance zone at approximately 38 cents and we blew up over it. Like this one went hundreds of percent over that price. So I want to keep this name on the watch list. We had a nice long period of consolidation, 80% pullback, like, and now we're starting to base out, go sideways. This name could just be one of those names that just goes ballistic. Just because I've seen this happen before doesn't mean it's going to happen again, but I think there's a trade in here. I'm keeping this one on the watch list and might add on to it once I see a nice escape out of this little, like, we're holding the 8 EMA, which is great, and we need to continue to hold it. I want to see more big bull volume coming in. Once you see volume like this consistently, that's when you know this is going to be ready to go. So I like the looks of Cbdt. We have CNR here. I like this from like a nice RSP name. You just continue to add over time. They pay dividends. But if we just look back at this stock, right? I'll put it on the weekly time frame. Like it loves this pattern. Broadening wedge or a falling broadening wedge, right? It loves that. Like we've come down multiple times. And what I like to see happening is it makes a move, comes back and back tests the trend line. Right, and that's happened multiple times here. Right, we make the move, we come back and we back test the trend line and it continues. This one happened to keep going, but like as you could see, like eventually that's what's going to happen here. I'm thinking this demand zone around 127 or buying off the bottom trend line, this downward trend line, is a nice play. We have this gap down that we got to fill eventually, and look at this volume coming in. Like what? Print a doji on the daily time frame is it's telling you that there's a potential reversal happening. So with this much volume coming in, it's kind of hard to ignore this name. So keep it on the watch list. Right now seems like a nice time to add this one into the RSPs. We got Neo here, so we're going back to the Neo breakdowns every week. Thankfully, I've missed this one a few times and I should have updated it, but that's all right. So we're gonna basically wait for this to make a pullback. That's what I'm thinking. I like Neo and the way it's looking right now because we have that massive move to the upside. It's been since November since we've been kind of choppiness going sideways, but we held $34 nicely, and we could be ready for this next big run in Neo. Keep it on the watch list. This one's another one. I think long term it's great, right? Like we're gonna go electric cars everywhere at some point in the future. When it's going to happen, we don't know, but like when that's a real thing, these names could be, who knows where they could be at. So it's cool to like watch this name. We had this descending channel coming down, right? So what could happen now is we come back, test the channel, then we run. I want to see that happen because we did just go straight up here. A few days of consolidation in between, but it's been a pretty nice grind up for just about over a month. So it would be time to see a pullback, and that could be happening, but I'm not too scared. The overall trend here is great, and I think Neo is a great name to be adding to the portfolio. So we got ETH now. Now when I look at ETH, we came back to this 2100 zone. 2000 to 2200, this is the zone. Like if we hold this, man, we're going back. What I see on the weekly now is a potential for a W pattern, which this is what I'm hoping for. This is what I want to see. I want to see a 1, a 2, right? We come back 3, and then we get ready to go, because there's too much bullish catalyst coming up. We haven't even, I believe there's something going on where there's going to be a bunch of ETH burned. Again, I'm not really too deep into crypto in terms of like knowing everything about each cryptocurrency, but there's some bullish catalysts to be paying attention to when it comes to ETH. Technically, if you're buying off 2K right now, you're laughing because it seems like that we don't like 2K. We keep rejecting. But that being said, just be careful because this drop down, if we can't make it, I'd say we'd probably come back to 1400. That's where I'm going to have it for sure, adding more shares at 1400. But that could happen. So if this does falter and we don't get this next bull run, then it's just going to come back down slowly, which is fine. It's just more time to get a better price, right? But I do think it's shaping up to be nice. I like this 2K demand zone. I'm loving it. BTC, we're starting to get like, what I'm scared of is what's happening is this is like a bear flag, just a massive bear flag, and then eventually we're going to slide back out. That's very possible. Like you can't ignore that. So this usually the fifth wave tends to be some sort of a triangle or a wedge or that type of pattern, right? So it seems like we're getting that, and it could be our next leg down. So it's nice for a strangle play if you do options, but right now I'm leaning more bullish just because of these wicks, right? Like we do not like 30K. So I'm thinking if we could hold here, it's a nice stage where we accumulated down here at 30K and we're ready to make that next move back to all-time highs. Snapchat, yeah, this one's, I like Snapchat. Like now that I think about it, like I'm surprised Snapchat's not $100 a share. Like who doesn't have Snapchat, right? Like it's become so popular over the past few years that like seeing this name only at $63 for me, it sounds like that's weird. Like I feel like it should be worth more just simply off of hype, like it's Snapchat. But I do really like this $48 demand zone. We hold up and we're starting to shape up some sort of triangle here. We break out of the triangle, we back test the upper trend line, and we've come back, we back test. This wants to go higher. It looks like it's ready to go. I'd be looking for, when we run the fibs, the fib extension move from here, to here, to back. $95 is our target. So that being said, that like when I look at the targets and I see this nice bullish pattern coming in, this is being bought up. Once we break over 65, it's ready to go. So honestly, this could be a good name for some options, maybe some September 80 calls I'd be looking towards. That looks like or October 80 calls. That'd be interesting. So I might have to get in some of that myself. Air Canada, I like this name, man. It's looking great. We're just dealing with this $30 to $28 to $30 supply zone here. This was an area that we struggled with back in 2017, and we're back at it. If we could somehow make a nice higher low in here and not break down, and we still battle this $28 to $30 supply zone, then it's just going to eventually run back to all-time highs, right? Keep in mind, when people start wanting to travel again and everyone's out, next year we could see this name at like $50+ right? So it's definitely worth keeping on the watch list. Like once it breaks over this $28 to $30 supply zone, it'll be for sure in play. So just pay attention to it. Even if it's just a name on your watch list, it's so worth it. And then we got PLTR. I like PLTR. It's similar to Neo in terms of that big move up. We consolidated sideways. Are we going to make this second move up to bring us way higher? We could. We do have this rising wedge happening here. I'm going to zoom in on the 4-hour time frame, maybe even 2-hour, and you can tell we got this rising wedge. We're playing in this range. So what could happen is like, well, as you can see, every time we try to make like a new high, it pulls back, right? New high, pull back. So what I'm expecting to happen here is we're going to see some sort of like pull back towards here, because when I go back to the daily time frame, this was an excellent move straight up, right? Now we need to get that pull back a little bit, and then we'll be ready to go, right? So I'll be looking to add more shares of PLTR if it comes back down to this. Let's run the fibs here. If we come back to this $21 to $23 range, I'm going to be adding shares because I really like the way this is looking. I think we're getting ready for a big move in this name. Of course, $30 supply zone is going to be our next battle, but it's a good name to have on the watch list for sure. PLTRs, and people like the hype of PLTR too, so it could be one of those that look at the price action, right? Like when it gets moving, it gets moving. This is going to be one of the names you might want to be holding. And that's the weekly breakdown. So cheers, guys. Enjoy the week. DM if you have any stocks that you want me to cover in the coming weeks or whatever. I'm back and we're doing this every week nonstop. Peace, guys.